of trying to coax him peacefully out of the house. And when the SWAT went in to apprehend him, he ended up stabbing three of them.
Of the cops.
Of the SWAT
It
team.
was
Yeah. How does he stab?
you know what I'm saying? 7 minutes of solid questions.
All right, folks, we're going to open up with Chip Kelly in the middle.
Do I have to sit or can I stand up?
Yes, no, well, yeah, if you would sit, Coach, just so we can, because we've got it malt box and amplified and all that.
All right.
Why don't you let him hold the mic? If he wants to stand.
I don't want to hold the mic. It's not karaoke.
Drop it. That's what you want.
No, we're good. There won't be a drop the mic.
I guess 5 days into this, has a pecking order developed with quarterback? Is there a front runner?
No, we're just trying to, as I told the players, don't count your reps, make your reps count. And I think they're doing a good job, all of them. We're still kind of going through that. I would say probably towards the end of this week, we'll start to kind of hone in on it. But it's part of is one again. Now the day of the lineup changes every day, like who's in with what group and just kind of mixing and matching right now. But we're all just trying to make the most of our reps, be valuable because of how we're doing it. And a lot of it's two fields. So we got two different groups going on at the same time. And with two different groups going on at the same time, there's a bunch of reps to be had. You know, our first practice, I think we had 96 team reps in the first practice. So there's enough to go around right now. When we start to consolidate and stop doing the two field works and start to get into one field work, then I think you got to start to kind of cut the reps down for some people.
We saw on Sunday, Will took all of the first team reps, 11 on 11.
Yeah, I wouldn't read into anything that. I think the next day next day he may have gone with the 3. So.
Sid Ryan said that he thought coming into volley, saw more zip, more power on those throws. Do you see that? And what have you seen both him and Devin improve that?
Yeah, I do. And I just think it's when Will got here, both Will, Julian, and Air got here in January. You know, Lincoln and Devin had been here for a while. So sometimes zip is do you know what you're doing? You know, when you have confidence to get back there, and I know the progression right away and I can rip it right now. Sometimes you're a little bit tentative, so the ball may not come off your hand the right way. But I've seen improvement from Will from where we were in the spring to where we were now.
How much seems like you've given after the spring game? You said the biggest compliment you given was the freshman. Does he still look like that out there?
No, Jules he just stays in the moment. That's the one thing I like about him. He doesn't, if he throws a bad ball, it doesn't bother him. If he throws a good ball, he doesn't get overexcited and say, you know, hey, I just arrived. He's always thinking about the next snap, and he's done a really good job with it. You know, just not kind of playing into anything, just trying to stay present. And that's what we're trying to get with all these guys, is that just stay present, just stay in the moment. You know, this is the 5th training session. I'm not sure anybody knows what day it is right now, just because everything runs together. You don't have a day off in terms of weekends, Sunday, Mondays, or whatever it is. It's just, how do I get better in this period? And then right now, the next process is we got to go in and watch a film, and everything we just did on the field, we now got to process again. Was this a good decision? Was this a bad decision? Why did you make the decision? And then, all right, we're going to continue down this path, or no, we got to correct this.
Chip, the teams,
I'll go right
stack
there
up with some of the better teams that you've coached? You've coached a lot of fast guys over the years.
Yeah, I mean, this team can run. You know, there's no Noah Lyles, but I mean, he went 27.1 miles per hour. I mean, we talked about that. Coach Day showed that in the meeting. You know, talked about where he was and how he finished. There was a great lesson there. But there's a lot of guys at a lot of positions that can run. And the guys that are the most impressive to me are the big guys that can really run. You know, we got some bigger guys. Will Howard's a great example. Will went 22 miles an hour this summer at 237 pounds. So we got a bunch of guys who can move.
Just with Julian, when we were out there the first 4 days, it seemed like sometimes you guys would give him some opportunities to go with the one, but also kind of reel him back in when he was making some of those rushing mistakes. Just how would he handle maybe hard coaching?
Yeah, Julian's great, but I wouldn't read into it. He may have gotten with the ones because in the rotation, the whole group was changing on the 4s, but the quarterback were changing on the 2s. So it just matched up that he was with the 1. So whatever group they're in, and I tell our guys, I don't really care what group you're in. I care about how do you execute. What is your assignment? Do you have a plan when you get to the line of scrimmage, and do you execute that plan? So Julian's been great.
Chip,
This is the first year analysts can coach.
Yeah.
You have so Billy can help out more than he could a year ago. Is that helpful to have like that?
It's helpful for everybody. You know, I think every position now has really embraced where we are. We've got some really smart guys that have been in the analyst roles here. Tim Drevno with the offensive line. You know, Drev's been an NFL O-line coach. He's coached at a lot of programs, a lot of Power 5 programs. So for him to be with the O-line, for Billy, who's got is one of the really bright young coaches in this country. You know, I hired Billy as my quarterback coach at UCLA, and we were fortunate to get him back here. And then when the rule changed, now he can actually give instruction on the field instead of just take notes and chart plays on the field. So all of that is beneficial. I think at every position, everybody is done a great job of using their analysts. And I know for all of us, the more voices we can have, I think it's beneficial for the team.
How do you use them? What do you
I think he does a great job with talking to who's not in. You know what I mean? If you watch our quarterbacks, they're stacked up in behind. So Billy's having conversations with them while whoever's in, Will's in, Devin's in, Lincoln's in. He's got that group in behind, and they're going through that play. Where obviously I don't have an opportunity while I'm watching the play and doing all that stuff. He can stand with those guys in behind and tell them what the play call is. West right slot, 322, Y stick, look for the halfback on the burst here. He can have that conversation with those guys, and then they can talk about what was that read that the quarterback was in, while Coach Day and myself can give feedback to the quarterback that is in. So.
How do y'all play that in meetings, though, Chip? I mean, who knows when to speak up? Who can speak up and when to speak up, and who do they speak up to? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think in all rooms, the position coach is running the meeting room, but obviously we always use assistants. There's some times where you give projects, hey, we're going to the meeting today. You got 7-on-7. I'm going to take 11-on-11. So you can go back and forth with that.
Yeah. And offensive line wise, what stuck out at you the first several days? I mean, do you see the makings of a good unit, great unit? What's just sort of your take on that? Right guard?
Yeah, I do see a making of a really good unit. And I think the first thing that I noticed is that whole group worked extremely hard with Mick in the summertime. So where they are physically, they came to camp ready to play and ready to compete. And again, the reps part for every position, not only quarterback, but whether it be right guard, right tackle, whatever it is we're just rolling. We're just trying to get as much film on tape. You hear and you forget, you see and you remember, you do and you understand. So how many reps can we get for our players so that they really, truly understand what we're doing? And that's what we're really trying to push through right now. Knock on wood, we've been really, really healthy so that we can continue to play at least 3 full groups right now. So everybody's getting a ton of reps and we're just rolling. And then we got to run in there as quick as possible, watch the tape as the coaches, and then get ready for our afternoon meetings, and then get ready for walk through at night, and then we, kind of rinse and repeat. That's kind of that's where we are in this mode of camp right now. So
Chip Ryan has mentioned a couple times that it feels like your impact not primarily, has been largely to help enhance the running game, and that maybe the ideas you've had are different from the last time you guys worked together. How has your philosophy for running football changed, do you think, since the last time you guys worked together?
I think your philosophy is always built upon who your players are. So the last time we were together, we had different personnel, so you're just always trying to feature what do you do really well, and then trying to mask what you don't do really well. So I think it's always morphed, and sometimes you're you're more of a run RPO team. Other times you're more of a spread them out, throw the ball down the field, and then you're running screen and draws. It just really depends on your personnel. So I think maybe that's how it's changed a little bit. And our personnel has been different. So, you get to learn some new things to adapt it to your personnel.
What do you think what would this team do?
They do a lot well. That's the good thing about this place. I don't think there's one singular thing. I think there's a lot of talent in the running back room. There's obviously a lot of talent in the wide receiver room. So I think there's going to be a good balance.
How similar is Ryan's passing game to what you all were doing the last time you worked with him? Was there any kind of
very similar? Yeah. A lot of the same things. Most of it was just terminology. He had to change some terminology when he got here, and then I'd learn the new terminology. But because he speaks the old language, he can say, hey, you called it this, we call it this. So it's more just that than anything else.
This goes more into general. This goes into more, maybe general quarterbacking stuff. But I think we've seen Will's accuracy improve the longer he's been here. At least just watching practice and things. How much of accuracy is timing, chemistry with receivers, and how much of it is the actual technical side of your form?
Well, I think a lot of that would be knowledge. So if I just got here and I've never run a play before live, I'm still trying to think the X is here, the Z is here, ball snap. I think Will has done a really good job really working on the playbook in the offseason, studying film so that he understands when there's a play call made that he knows where to go with the football. So, a lot of the accuracy things that maybe a young quarterback doesn't have is that, well, he looks like he's tentative and he's not very accurate. Well, he may not really understand the concept or the routes that we're running right now. He's got a kind of an idea, but he probably got the Cliff Notes version. Right now, he's really studied it and understands it. And I think give Will that credit. He's really done a great job of kind of putting himself in that position right now.
He's really changed his body from the winter and the spring when he got here. How 14, 15 pounds. How can you see that?
Yeah, I think he moves better. I mean, obviously, like I said before, he ran 22 miles an hour at 237 pounds. So you can see that in his ability to not only run faster, but I think I think he's got a lot more stamina. You know, he can last longer during the course of a training session. So, you know, really a credit to him and credit to Mick and those guys in the weight room for what they did with all of our guys in the offseason.
Chip, the dynamic between you and Ryan, it's kind of interesting because you were his mentor, now he's technically your boss. And like when I get older, you know, I don't tell my dad how to fix a car, even though I'm an adult now. If this makes sense where I'm going with it. What's the dynamic like now? Are you still a mentor, even though he's your boss? Kind of what's your relationship like as you're working together?
I think we're both trying to win. So I think when you're trying to win, I don't think you look at it like who's the mentor or who's the boss. It's, you know, how do we put our players in a position to make plays, and that's the bottom line. And I think, you know, the good thing is that we know each other so well. Like neither of us has an ego. I don't care if it's his idea or if it's my idea or Brian Hartline's idea. And I think Brian's really sharp, you know, and really adds a lot to what we do. Or Justin or Carlos Lockwood, who just came in. Keaton Bailey is a huge studier of the game of football and has some real good ideas. So, you know, I think we have a bunch of people that we ask our players to be unselfish. I think as coaches, you have to be the same exact way. And I don't care if I get credit for anything. I just want to win games. And I think that's the way Ryan feels the same exact way. And, you know, I think we're on the same page from that standpoint. So I don't think we look at it from that standpoint. You know what I mean?
Kind of
A couple
building
more
off
minutes
that.
for Chip, guys.
Ryan said at Big Ten Media Day he would trust you with his life.
Mhm.
Whether it's mentor or mentee, just the idea of having a connection with a coach like that. How important is that?
I mean, I think that's important, obviously. I mean, that's a pretty big statement, but I feel the same way. You know, I think there's a long history. We grew up in the same hometown. We've known each other for almost 40 years now. So it's not you know, we coached together in the NFL for 2 years and then we got back together again. So there's, you know, when you go through it, it's the same elementary school, the same junior high, the same high school, the same college. I recruited him, coached him in college. I know his family well. I know his entire family well, I think. And we're all products of the same hometown with the same coaches that coached him in youth sports, coached me in youth sports. So there's always going to be that connection. So I think that's a little bit different just because of that dynamic from it's not just a history of 2 years together in the NFL. It's 40 years of, you know, growing up in the same hometown. So.
Chip,
Ryan
watch
said
Kent.
that he'd like to have, ideally, a quarterback starter name within the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Do you think that is on the path towards happening?
That's a great question by you, and I know exactly where you're going with that. So I don't have an answer for you.
Who's your number 2 quarterback?
That's a good question, too. That's a great way to phrase it.
Chip, is there a difference, if you know, I mean, Will reminds me of a guy who's not only able to run, but willing to run as a quarterback. What does that add to, like, I guess, his worth for one of another time?
Well, I think it challenges the defense. You know, when I talk to Jimmy Knowles, we spend a lot of time with our defensive staff. They do a great job of what hurts you, you know, and really what don't you want to see, you know. But when you have somebody that can be a dual threat, that's a really tough thing to defend sometimes because, all right, we're going to play 2-man and lock up these receivers and double their 2 best receivers and go. Well, if they've all turned their back to the quarterback and the 4-man rush doesn't get home and the quarterback now takes off, there's nobody left, you know, and it's not. I think obviously we know how fast Will is. So it's not like if he runs, it's a 6-yard game. Like if he takes off, it could be a 60-yard game. And he had a few of those. I think he went 60 against Texas. I mean, he's had some really big runs in his career so far. So I think that's just another tool in your toolbox, but it makes you a little bit more multidimensional. You look at the trend that's gone in the NFL, a lot of those guys, can they keep plays alive and can they extend plays because of their athleticism? You know, Lamar does that. Patrick Mahomes does that. Josh Allen does that. Will's probably more like Josh just because he's a bigger guy. But it does add a dimension to your offense.
Steve, Steve and then Cam.
Okay.
Does Julian have that capability too?
Yeah, Julian, every quarterback in our group runs over 20. And Will runs 20. I think he went 22-1 and he was the fastest. But like Lincoln was 21-9. Like Lincoln can go. Devin, obviously we know he's got that. And Julian was over 20 this summer. Air runs at 21. So all of those guys run over 20 miles an hour. So we don't have anybody that's a statue back there. But we're also not going to run them 25 snaps a game. They're not Tim Tebow now. So we're not direct snapping it to them and running quarterback power. It's just another facet of what we can do and that you have to account for the quarterback in the run game.
Last 2 questions, Steve and then Cam.
Chicago, Ryan Day says he would trust you with his life. Just to hear a guy that you coach, a guy that you work with, that's got to be the ultimate compliment and make you feel that you got into this and are having that impact on a lot of people's lives.
Yeah, but I would say this: that wasn't a surprise to me. So we've known that, and as we've had a relationship that goes back a long, long time. So, and I feel the same way. So our families are really close, and we grew up in a great hometown where that sense of community and sense of loyalty and sense of love for one another is always been fostered. So, it means a lot that he would say that, but I feel the same exact way.
When we watched Brandon Ennis at camp.
Yeah.
Obviously healthy, but in and out of cuts very quickly.
Sure.
When you have a healthy Brandon Ennis, how much can that add?
Folks, we have Aaron Noland on the north 20.
Motions and different things like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you can do with BI, and it was unfortunate that we didn't have him during most of the spring, so I didn't get to see him, and I knew who he was. He was a highly recruited kid coming out of high school, but to see him now, but I love his competitive nature. He competes, and I think it kind of brings that competitive level, and I think to a really good competitive wide receiver room, it kind of takes it to another level. So to have him back out there as another weapon, to go along with Mac and Carnell and JJ and those other guys and Bryson and JB, there's a bunch of really talented guys in that room, but to have him back healthy is a really big plus for us right now.
Great, Coach. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Coach, I'm going to bring you over here.
Oh my God.
This is control. Folks, we have Devin Brown on the south 25.
Probably Will Howard right here. Yeah.
I was just about to say, it's like, I'm like,
Want to go right here? All right. Guys, we got Lincoln Kienholz right here in the middle.
After your stellar performance in the softball game, that you thought about also going out for baseball?
Honestly, no, I haven't. I think that's just something once a year, just go out there, have fun, and just swing the bat again. So. Honestly, I feel really good. Obviously, there's a lot of new information put in, but I think I just got to keep my head in the books and just keep grinding. And when I get my shot to go out there and play, I just got to capitalize on that. So. Say that again. What? Honestly. Okay. I think I can go out there. I think I can be a dual threat quarterback. I think I can run and throw, and just make plays when need to be. So.
How different are you now than
I feel way different. I feel way more comfortable than I did. I'd say just like with protections and just the concepts that we ran. I feel more calm, I'd say, in the pocket, and honestly just overall more confident. So
Sure, that was in some ways a dream to get to play in the Cotton Bowl.
Yeah.
In other ways, maybe a nightmare because, it was a tough situation.
Yeah, for sure.
How did you, in hindsight, how do you view that experience?
I view it as a huge learning experience because I mean it just shows how fast the game really is and how prepared you need to be in order to be successful and to win games. So
You ran a 21-9, Chip said. Will is 22-1.
yeah. Mhm.
How does that amaze you?
It does, yes. I'd say quarterbacks, I'd say most of the time they don't really think that we're super athletic, super fast guys, but I'd say in our room, I'd say we're all over 20 miles an hour. So I think that this room's special and it's gifted with speed. So
What stands out about Will's athleticism in addition to the speed?
yeah, obviously he's a bigger guy, but he's super athletic. He's super fast, strong, and he's a super smart quarterback. So I think that's something that I can take and I can go learn from for the years to come.
Seems like you guys all get along well. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but you would think if 5 quarterbacks all competing for the job, it seems like you guys all get along well.
Yeah, we do. I'd say it's still something that we don't really think about right now. We're just all getting in. We're all just trying to grind and get a spot. But I mean, I think at the end of the day, we're gonna have to see who's gonna be a starter, who's gonna be a backup, whatever. But I think right now we're friends over competitors, so with each other.
There's not many places that actually have 5 quarterbacks with talent like this, but they also don't have enough coordinator like Kelly. How important is it to have him and just, even if you're not going to be that starter, get that development from a guy who knows as much as Chip?
Yeah, I think it's important. I think it's special because we have two of the best coaches just in the country, with Coach Day and Coach Kelly. I'd say with Coach Kelly, he's been everywhere. He's been NFL. He's been to multiple colleges. So I think his level of understanding of just the game and football in general is something that each quarterback here can take away and can learn from. And I'd say in the couple of years to come, I think that we can all be in a chance to go start anywhere, like here or anywhere in the country, or yeah. So,
Like, are there different opportunities for the quarterback to run Chip's offense than what you guys learned a year ago?
yeah, for sure. I'd say there's almost in every run play we have, there's an opportunity for the quarterback to run. So it's different than what has been in the past. But I'd say there's a lot of opportunities for quarterbacks.
Like for you, Devin, and Will, I won't speak for you guys, but you want to throw the football, but you have enough athleticism to do more, especially you with some of that dual multi-sport background. Like, does this fit better for you than maybe a year ago?
I'd say having the opportunity to run too is also important. It's special for me just because that's kind of what I did all in high school is to throw. I mean, I would throw probably 75% of the time. Then I was a running back in high school too, so I'd run the other 25%. So I think it's just the next level from high school. So. Oh yeah, for sure. I'd say I could be up there. I think it just all comes down to really who's more prepared and who's more ready to go. But yeah, I'd say this offense fits me pretty well, and I hope to obviously do a good job and succeed in it. So. It's been way different because I obviously came in the summer last year, so I was just kind of just learning the basics. But now I've been here for a year now, and I think it's changed a lot just because now I'm trying to take that next step into each concept and each run play and try to maximize everything with it and to just try to understand every aspect of our offense. So. just because I didn't really know a whole lot about the offense. I was just trying to survive basically last year. So I just think it's different just because I'm trying to come in and just try to win a spot. And I'm trying to just maximize my reps as much as possible. So
How do you do that? 2 more questions for Lee.
I'd say just come in, watch the film, try not to make the same mistake twice, and just keep pushing forward.
You guys lose Marvin, and then pretty much everybody's picking you guys out of this country. It's pretty amazing for you guys. So just what do you see up in the wideout so far?
They're super athletic. I think we're going to have the best room in the country and the best athletes in the country at the receiver position. It's going to be a fun year just being able to sling to those guys and just watch them make plays.
Crazy what Jeremiah's able to do. I know he doesn't play game yet. He carries himself and just how he plays. Is that pretty amazing to you?
Yeah. He definitely came in super college ready. He's super athletic. He can make plays. He's just a crazy athlete, and he's gonna be special for our offense. So.
Last year, you were just trying to survive because you get here in the summer, you're just trying to learn things. Well, at the end of that survival was you playing in the Cotton Bowl. So when you look back on that film, are you hard on yourself about it, or do you just kind of throw it out and let it be what it is?
No, I'm probably one of like the biggest critics of myself. So if there's one thing that I don't do right, then that's the first thing that I look at. So I mean, based off the Cotton Bowl film or just film from last season, I think I made a huge step in my game. But I mean, there's still also some things that I need to get better on, and just accelerate just to be in a position to play.
Great. Thank you very much, buddy.
Yep. Thank you.
Folks will put Will Howard right at the middle.
Scout team.
No,
That's not how it goes.
I don't believe you.
We actually watched all 4 of them. I don't know if you know this. You can't lie to us right now.
Yeah.
Tomorrow you could because we didn't watch today. So, Lincoln left it nice and wet for me. Hey guys, what's up? How we doing? How we doing?
Thanks for your time. I guess you were like close to 250 when you were
Yeah, a little portal weight put on.
Did they kind of redo the riot act and say, okay?
Yeah, I knew I had to, and Coach Mick and we came up with a plan, and wanted to get my weight down to around where it is now by this time. Yeah, 230, 235, and I feel really good now, and the plan worked. I just got to keep maintaining it.
How hard was it to follow that plan? It's one thing to say don't eat carbs, don't do it, and what were the instructions?
Yeah, I mean, we sat down with Kayla, sat down with Coach Mick. If whether it was in the winter coming in on Saturdays doing a little extra cardio, or just being cooking for myself a little more, which made me feel a little more like I'm like living alone. I feel like a little more grown up. It's kind of cool. Yeah, adulting a little bit. I was like, all right, I could make some chicken or make some of that. I kind of had fun with it. So it was cool. It was fun, and I just want to. It feels good, to eat well and to treat your body right, and I really learned how to do that here, and it's been really, really good for me.
You went from what to 230?
I believe I was 249 when I got here, my first weigh-in, and now I'm around 233, 235.
You ever go pick up like a 15-pound dumbbell and go, hey, I've lost all that?
Yeah, no, I know. It is significant. And I can feel it, just in day-to-day, even just moving in the pocket, and then obviously, straight ahead running, I definitely feel it too.
Can you scoot up to the mic?
When you stepped on the scale,
Okay.
and it said 249, what were the looks in the room?
Oh yeah, I know. Coach Mick had some words for me and whatnot, but I didn't feel great myself. And hey, Jelani, what's up? And I knew I had to lose some weight, and thankfully I did. And all I had to do was listen to what they told me here and follow the plan, and it worked out.
When did you start to get comfortable with the receivers here in the offense?
I feel like in the spring I was kind of at the beginning, at least, drinking from a fire hose a little bit, especially just with the way that the offense was installed. But I think that was good for me, kind of learning how to go through a spring or through a couple of practices without really having any prior experience with an offense and going through that, kind of the struggles that I had and the things that I learned from, I feel like I really started to settle in kind of like practice 7, practice 8 of the spring. I was like, okay, this is really making sense. I'm starting to kind of get my stride, and really now coming into fall camp, it's been like completely different. Just, the way, the amount of banked reps. And that's the thing is like, you can't replicate actually doing it. The only way to do it is to do it and to go out there and, in OTAs or in fall camp practices and getting reps and, having these reps from the spring banked and all these things that I've learned. It's helped me a lot this fall camp to just go out there and play more rather than think about things,
There's going through that when you're a true freshman at Kansas State, right? Where you're trying to develop in the background. If you don't get it today, it's okay. Even though there's a sense of urgency versus, I know they haven't named the starter yet, but you got 9 months to figure it out.
Yeah.
Just the urgency you had in that situation in comparison to when you're going through it as a young guy.
Yeah.
Just in the backup role.
Yeah, it's different. It's obviously you're coming into a new system, you're having to learn things, but it's a lot faster. And the way I looked at it, it was, if my goal is ultimately to make it to the NFL, this is what I'm going to have to do at the next level. So I think it was a really good opportunity for me to learn how to learn fast and how to pick things up. And I think Coach Kelly and Coach Day have done a really good job of just making things easy to understand and easy to pick up. And the more reps I've gotten, the more comfortable I've become. So it's been great. And the more that I just throw to these receivers and just get around these guys, the more we're coming together and becoming a team. And it's cool to see. And we just got to keep doing it and keep practicing as hard as we have been. I think I've done a pretty good job protecting the football and being smart with my decisions. I think that I want to continue to push the ball down the field when I have opportunities to, and be accurate down the field and get some more air on my deep balls. Those are just a couple things that I've thought about personally, but I think one of the bigger things is, what are we doing as a team? And, obviously, I'm thinking about myself and how I can be better, but the bigger thing is how can we be better as a team, and how can I facilitate that being the quarterback? How can I encourage somebody, before we go out there to remind them, hey, if it's a running back, make sure on 6 on whatever protection, you got these guys. Doing things like that is something I want to continue to grow in for my team, because that's, at the end of the day, all 11 guys have to do their job every single play. And being the quarterback, you kind of have to facilitate that a little bit and help those guys and make sure that, we're being the best team we can be.
We saw you take off for that long run on Saturday practice. Did you look fast? Did you feel fast?
Yeah, I felt fast. It was nice to get out and run it a little bit. We made a little QB call on that play and got out and ran, and it was fun. Obviously it's nice to compete with those guys and running, trying to outrun some DBs that are really, really fast. But yeah, it was a good play.
I know when you came here, you talked about you wanted to really develop as a passer, and that was a big priority for you coming here. Do you feel still like your legs something that can really?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's a big part of my game, and it's going to need to be a part of our game as an offense. Whether that's in the read game and in the scramble game, whatever it may be. And, I just want these guys on my team to know that, I'm willing to run the ball and go get that extra yard when I need to, because at the end of the day, that's what it really comes down to is, are we going to run some quarterback, run plays? Sure. But, at the end of the game, when it's 3rd and 5 and everyone's covered down the field, am I going to be able to tuck the ball down and go get 6 yards and run someone over? Like that's one of the bigger things. And I think, I want those guys, that are out there with me to know that, I'm going to go get that extra yard.
That's a big part of your game. Some quarterbacks are able to run, but not willing. You know what I mean? Coached almost into it.
Yeah. I've always definitely, when I was a young kid, I was a pretty good runner. When I got to high school, I was a tall, skinny pocket passer kind of, and I wasn't really known for my running ability. I ran it, from time to time, but when I got to K-State, I put on a little weight. I started to get a little stronger in the, in my leg areas, and actually my first start against TCU, 3rd play of the game, I ripped off like an 80-yard QB draw, which I surprised myself a little bit. Like I had some good runs in camp and people knew I was a good athlete, but like, I was like, man, did I just really just do that? And from then on, it just kind of became a part of my game. And, I just got more and more confident with it. And, the more you do it, the better you get at it. And, throughout my whole career there, I ran the ball a good amount and I enjoy running the ball. I think, people always ask me, is it more fun to run a touchdown or throw a touchdown? I like to run it. I think it's pretty cool to, run in there and celebrate with your teammates. But, yeah, it's definitely been a big part of my game. It's going to need to be.
Some of the guys that said
that. That's a good question. Everything's heightened here. I think, you feel the eyes a little bit, and you feel. I think the one thing I would say is that I don't feel like I have to be a hero here, and I feel like I have the guys around me to where I just need to facilitate and just get them the ball and make good decisions. And at the end of the day, I don't have to go out there and do anything superhuman. I just have to be myself and trust the guys around me. And, going through camp and through spring ball, like I was talking to you earlier, Adam, like going against this defense every single day is a blessing, man. Like I know it sucks at times, and I'm sitting here like, geez, like, in a game, like that guy's not going to be guarded like that. That's just Denzel being a dude, or IGB, making a really good play. But like, that's real, and that is going to happen. And we're going to play some really good defenses, but like, I think we're playing, one of, if not the best defense in the country every single day. And that's just making me and us better. And, for me, it's elevating my game, and I love the competition, and we all do. So. I think they're doing a really good job. I think here in this offense, they're doing a lot of different things. They're moving around a lot. They're blocking, they're catching, they're doing a lot of different things, and they've shown some really good flashes so far in these first couple of days of practice. And I'm excited for this group. I think G's doing some really good things, and obviously he's one of those alpha dogs in the offense. Like everyone looks to him. He's one of those guys, and and Will Kazmarek's doing some really good things. Jelani's doing some really good things. Like everyone's kind of stepping up, and it's been cool to see. I think that tight end room's definitely bringing the juice. Coach Key's got them going, and I'm excited to see what they do. Yeah.
Do you feel like at this moment, do you feel like you're the number one quarterback? Do you approach practice like you're the starter? Your mindset wise, I mean, how do you go about that? Because obviously it's still a competition. But
I'm just trying to be the best version of myself every single day. That's all I'm trying to do. And whenever I get thrown in there, I'm going to go in there and make the best out of my reps, and show this team that I'm going to fight for them and do everything that we need to do to win. That's all that matters to me. Just getting better and being the best teammate I can be.
This is the first year that Kienholz can coach guys during practice, and Chip said Billy can kind of talk to you guys more after a rep and help you out. As you learn a new offense, a new system, has that been valuable to you?
It's been awesome. Yeah, I think it was long overdue. I think, we've had these guys that have a ton of knowledge, and had all these weird rules that they couldn't coach. But now being able to, have Riley and Billy and Coach Kelly and Coach Day all coaching us. You got really two quarterback coaches on either field when we're doing like two spot. Like, it's invaluable. And I think Billy's been awesome for the room. I think Riley Larkin's still doing some really good things. Obviously, Coach Kelly and Coach Day are, some of the best in the country, at developing quarterbacks. And, the coaching that we're getting is awesome. And I think having the analysts be able to be out there on the field has been really big and long overdue.
Well, Chip said there is no front runner at this point. You guys rotate through. We saw you getting all the reps with the 11 the other day. At what point would it be helpful to know who the starter is and then be able to get those reps and be the leader, more importantly, to kind of take over the team?
Yeah, I wish I could say. I don't really know. And, that's not up to me. That's not my decision. I'm just going to be myself, keep fighting to be the best version of myself every single day, and try to make the most out of my reps and show this team that, I'm going to give them my all. And that's all I can do, man. And we're just going to keep competing, keep making each other better and having fun.
In terms of your passing, do you feel like a different passer than you were at K-State, and why?
Yes, I do. I think I've tweaked some things with my mechanics, And, I think the coaching that I'm getting here, just not mechanic wise, but read wise and feet wise and all these different things. And, I'm getting a different, deeper level of coaching than I ever have before. And, I have a deeper understanding of the offense and what the defense is doing. And, my movement keys, my pre-snap checklists, my post-snap reads, like everything's just been faster. And obviously, my experience helps with that a little bit. But I think, my work with my quarterback coach has helped a lot. Jeff Christensen, he's helped me a ton. And, I feel like I've just gotten stronger, and that's helped me a lot too. So I think I'm throwing the ball with a lot more confidence, throwing the ball a lot better. And a lot of that has to do with the coaching I've gotten. And, that's a credit to those guys for getting me ready and, making sure that, I develop myself in the off season and, have become the best version of myself going into fall camp.
All right, well, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you.